So I'm just going to share one of my example of my friend who actually bought a HDB at about 700 plus K, but I'm just going to put it at 700K for easier reference. So let me just draw HDB and private. So mainly today, the main issue that we are facing from HDB is also because it's a 30% mortgage servicing ratio versus private, you have actually a 60% total debt servicing ratio. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. And for rough calculation, we're just going to do for HDB at 700K. So let me just draw 700K here. This is the purchase price. And for example, let me quote on a private that is 1.2 million. At this range, you probably could get a 3-bedroom for a new launch, for example. Okay, so the total loan that is required for HDB, let's say, is 90% loan at 630K. And here you will actually have a 75% loan at 900K. And so for this ruling, we are actually using a 3.5% interest rate to calculate. So I'm just going to put it here. So let's say for the HDB, the income needed for this 630K is actually 9426. And the income needed over here as comparison is actually just 6735 per month. So you can actually see a difference. If you're getting a HDB at 700K, you will need an income of 9426 versus if you're getting a private at 1.2 million, the income needed is just 6735. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of people qualify for a private property loan than a HDB loan. Okay, so if you actually take a look at this HDB resale price index that is from first quarter last year to first quarter of this year, in the whole of 2018, you can actually see it's actually on a negative point, and for the whole of 2019, the first quarter of 2019, it's also on a negative point, which also brings us back to this price index of HDB resale flats ever since from 94 until 2019. So you can actually take a look at this point of time where the 30% MSR is introduced and then followed by no more cash over valuation. So you have to get the valuation only after both the seller and the buyer agrees on the price. And from this point onwards, you can actually see this part is actually descending, and there's no increase at this point of time. And lastly, I will just do a fast summary of the HDB versus private. So let me draw again in pink color, like that and like that. Okay, so first we actually talk about the 30% MSR for HDB, and private is actually a 60% TDSR. Other than that, because for HDB you are actually able to get a 90% loan, it's good. You can get 90% loan because your down payment is not so much, but because of the 90% down payment, your monthly repayment becomes higher and the income needed also becomes higher. So while private is actually just 75% loan, next we actually move on to HDB. You have to fulfill a 5 years MOP. Oh my god, my word is hideous. And private, you actually need to fulfill just a 3 years SSD. But at any point of time you want to sell, it's fine. It's just that you have to pay a 12%, 8% and 4% seller stamp duty. While HDB, within that 5 years, you are not allowed to sell. And if you're talking about renting, yes, you can actually rent your HDB, but only the rooms. While private, at any point of time, once it's ready, you can actually rent it at a whole unit. Last but not least, for HDB, because usually it's actually under a merit scheme or you are at after the age of 35. So merit scheme, you are actually tying down 2 person's name. While private, you can actually just put 1 person's name. So in future you can just buy one more because you have a free name for investment purpose. So no ABSD. For HDB, because you actually is buying under two names, so the second property onwards, you will have to plus the ABSD of 12% only lah.